Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Falls Count Anywhere here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. Thank you guys very much for tuning in again. This is Eric Dunn, and yes, I am running solo for this week. Um, but also, please be rest assured that for next week's broadcast, the last broadcast of July, on the 26th, we will be having my dad, Edward Dunn, join me as well as wrestling promoter Tony Jones. So Tony will be back in the booth with me yet again, which would be great. Um, and my dad will also get the chance to actually meet Tony, which has to be pretty cool too. But um, but yeah, this is Eric Dunn right here, once again live from my home in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Hope you all are having a great month. For those that are in the New England area, I'm sorry we can't get much comfort from the humidity. It sucks, I know. Yeah, our AC bills and our entire electric bills are going to keep going up and up. So, we'll see how it goes. But, it's summer for you. And it's honestly felt like Florida up here, even though Florida gets hit with the high 90s worse than us. So, it's funny when you think about it, weather these days and how fast everything changes. Um, but what I will say, though, however, um, you know, WWE, a lot's changed with them. And as we were getting closer to SummerSlam, I've got some updates for you guys to give. Um, there's two matches on the card right now that I'll read for you guys, and then the Raw and SmackDown results. Then looking ahead to this week's SmackDown on Friday night, and also the Raw on the 24th as well. And also as a side note too, because of what's going on with the World Cup, um, SmackDown until I believe the beginning of September is going to be aired on FS1 due to that. So for those that don't get FS1 at all, I think if you download the Fox Sports app and log in with your TV provider, you might be able to actually still get the ability to watch SmackDown. Just a side note for all of you out there. Um, but yeah, this is what we're gonna be breaking down for you guys throughout our time together. So that being said, I'm gonna inform all of you at this time that this broadcast of False Count Anywhere is the exclusive property of Rhode Island Broadcasting for the uses of our audience in any publications, reuses, or redistributions by anyone. It is not prohibited and is given the express consent to be shared and is greatly appreciated. So last week, Tony Jones and I, we were looking ahead to SummerSlam, and we were looking at what we hoped could happen. And on the other side of our commercial break, I'll be dissecting that. But I actually want to go over what's happened this week and last, and just taking it in order here for you guys here with the SmackDown results. And for SmackDown, it was actually pretty interesting when you really sat back and watched it, because from SummerSlam, these were everything that happened in order here. So Charlotte Flair challenged the EST Bianca Belair to a title match at SummerSlam if she was going to be Asuka to become champion. And then going down the line here, um, pretty deadly actually knocked off Sheamus and Rich Holland. So the Brawling Brutes did not get the win in this. And I was actually surprised. Bailey defeated Zillion Vega. That was a quick match there. Um, and then Jey Uso, in my opinion, gave one of his best promos. Now, if you guys can think back to like 2010, that was when the Usos started coming on to the scene in WWE. They brawled with the Hart Dynasty and Natalia. That was when the Usos and Tamina were coming up together. And I will admit, The Usos had to go through a lot of maturing. They had to go through a big evolution, and you know, um, a lot of people kind of look at this and say, that their you know, their heel turn when they got rid of the face paint and all that colorful stuff, um, and then their legendary rivalry with the New Day. That was the beginning of the Usos really starting to establish dominance in the tag team division for WWE. And then it was the face turn that they had out to that rivalry, and they actually started teaming up with the New Day. And then when Reigns um, came back into the calendar year of 19, Usos started tagging with them. But then 2020, when COVID hit, Reigns was gone for 6 months, and the Usos caught the brink of his rampage, and then Jay had to fall in line, turn heel, and then Jimmy had to turn heel later on. I mean, this whole thing has just come around full circle here. But I think the whole point I'm trying to make right now for you guys with SmackDown is this is not the last of this bloodline stuff. Like, the bloodline may be over, but Reigns is still champion. And, I mean, we have to sit back and think about this for a second. 3.5 years, Reigns is champion. Reigns is basically going to hit 3 years come SummerSlam. Everyone thinks he's going to hit 3.5 years once we hit next year's WrestleMania. But how fitting could it be for Jay to take this off of him? Sorry. It's like that long rivalry, what that rivalry or that bickering you have with a family member that you just love so much. Regardless of how many times that they've done you wrong, you still want to love them, you know? I mean that's exactly how you feel right now. And that's how I felt when it came to Jay. Jay Uso, in my opinion, that persona of main event Jey Uso is going to show up at SummerSlam. Man, I just find it so cool. You know, we're 2.5 weeks away from SummerSlam. I mean, it's amazing how fast the summer's gone by, and by the time we hit August, Patriots are going to have training camp. So, it's crazy when you think about that. Um, and as we're going over SmackDown results with that as well, and I'm going to get into Raw in just 1 second here. Um, the biggest thing with Raw with that is who's going to be United States champion, who's going to knock off Austin Theory, who's going to take him out. And for SmackDown this week, it's a fatal 4-way. Sorry, not fatal 4-way. The fatal 4-way was last week in the U.S. Championship Invitational. It's going to be Santos Escobar. He advanced. And looking at it, the winner of the Invitational is basically going to be challenging Theory. So it's going to be between AJ Styles, Santos Escobar, Butch, and Grayson Waller to battle it out. And the winner of that will be the number one contender. Now, if I had to pick anyone in this to win, I would want to pick AJ. He was a great champion in this company. He still is. There's just a lot of questions right now regarding the title and how to mix all that in. But Our good friend though, Kenneth Schofield, put out a comment. I'm just mad because Dom won that belt last night. So yes, for those that watched NXT last night, Dominic Mysterio is the new NXT North American champion. A lot of people are saying it's as similar to when Dolph Ziggler won the NXT title during COVID. I'm telling you right now, Dominic as a heel, he's obviously a great fit for the Judgment Day. But I think we all can agree that on the main card of WWE, Dominic Mysterio does not live up to the hype that surrounds him in that spotlight. Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom, whatever the hell you want to say, I don't care. You want to put a belt on him? Put him down in NXT. Because as far as I'm concerned, he has a lot more growing up to do. He has a lot more maturity to do. He's got a long way to go. He has a very long way to go. But definitely keep those comments coming. Absolutely. Um, but I'll say that for the Judgment Day, it's not a bad group. I just don't like heels. But I guess that would make me a little bit of an ass and a hypocrite because I still like Lesnar. I mean, it's hard to go against a guy like Brock Lesnar, face or heel, just because of how much he's done for this business. I mean, Lesnar turned 46 years old. There will never be another Brock Lesnar on this earth or in this company or this business ever again. Brock Lesnar is a once in a lifetime talent. You don't believe me? Just ask Paul Heyman. They spent the betterment of 20 years dominating WWE. I mean, it was just crazy when you really think about that and you just sit back and you're like, damn, Lesnar's done all this and he's 46. Yeah, he's 46. He's practically the same age as Cena. And it's just boggling to me just how good Lesnar still is. And speaking of Judgment Day too, KO and Sami Zayn on to the Raw results from this Monday night. Um, the biggest thing right now with that was that KO and Sami Zayn survived a Judgment Day title scare. And then Lesnar ruthlessly ambushed Rhodes and locked him in the Kimura again. Matt Riddle lost again to Gunther, and he called out Drew McIntyre. I've got a strong feeling that might be a match for SummerSlam. A lot to break down there, and we'll figure that all that out. And then Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville are actually the new women's tag team champions. And that was because Rhea Ripley attacked Rodriguez, and she suffered a leg injury. Those two might go at it at SummerSlam. I'm hoping that's the case. Maybe Raquel could actually win the title. Not sure. But I mean, Liv Morgan was just basically just by herself. You know? And I mean that's just sad. But going on to it though, it looks like it's gonna be Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam. Lynch will get her rematch with Stratus if she can beat Zoe Stark on next week's Raw. But guys, SummerSlam is already looking to be a good card, regardless of the fact that 17 days away. That it's only 2 matches right now. You have to understand that the 2 matches that are on this card for SummerSlam, from what I can understand right now, is a very interesting card. So with that being said, we're going to take our only break. And when we come back, I'm going to dive right into those two matches for SummerSlam. And I'm going to break down the history between the two competitors of each match. And I'm simply going to give to you guys the history between them as well. Because this goes back a long time. One of them basically goes back the night after WrestleMania. One goes back almost 7 years. So all that's been broken down for you, as well as some other news regarding WWE. Some non-SmackDown, not Raw, not SummerSlam related. And we're going to break all that down, and I'm going to give you some updates on what's going on outside of the company that involves them. Right after a word from Rhode Island Broadcasting Station, and also from a word from Road to Love Wedding Services and Lighthouse Productions, Rhode Island. You're watching Falls Count Anywhere. They're on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. So, folks, I do want to express my apologies for a second. Normally, we had some technical difficulties last week too with our advertisement. So, if you guys would like, I'll just do it non-scripted, and I will tell it to you right now. If my man Ron,
if you're looking for an entertainment company to help you with your event of any kind, feel free to check out Lighthouse Productions, Rhode Island. Providence-based company serving all of New England, providing you entertainment needs in the areas of sound, lighting, photo booth, photography, videography, drone videography, monograms, slideshows, and of course, DJ sound. As a special bonus, we also have wedding officiant services through Road to Love Wedding Services in conjunction with Lighthouse Productions to provide you all of your wedding needs. Don't need a wedding? Fantastic. You need music or a reason to have entertainment for a party of any kind? We can handle all budgets and all sizes and all different types of venues. With COVID, there's a 100% money back guarantee for any type of cancellation and rescheduling needs. Check us out at lighthouseproductionsri.com. Lighthouse Productions, Rhode Island, your entertainment source for all of New England.
Hello again, folks, and welcome back. I do apologize for that. But anyway, as I was saying, so Road to Love Wedding Services and Lighthouse Productions Rhode Island has been the advertisement here, but it's also been a long time advertisement of my show, I'm Done with Sports, and the show that me and my dad were done do, which is a Providence Bruins Boston Bruins show called Too Many Duns on the Ice on 990WBOB.com. And, the biggest thing I think that we can take away from this when it comes to a live broadcast is sometimes things happen that we don't really have control over. But, I just think that the biggest thing for me right now is, I love being able to do this stuff with my dad and be able to have like all this fun. And I also want to let you guys know, too, that I'm Done with Sports. It's podcasted up every week as of every Thursday morning on 990WBOB.com. As of right now, I go live every Wednesday at 6. I record on Mondays, but it goes live Wednesday at 6 when it gets aired. And then right here, guys, Falls Count Anywhere is every Wednesday at 5. Right here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And I believe Ron gave us also an update last week on he showed us how many more sources we are on. If Ron, if you could pull it up for me just real quick. I believe we're also available on Amazon, and we were also available on Spotify as well. So yeah, I think it's actually pretty cool. We have some few more channels. We have a lot more to get out there. Yep, there we go. So we're also available on Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, and TuneIn. And TuneIn is a really good company too. TuneIn, the TuneIn Action podcast. So we just land so many more platforms for Falls Count Anywhere to gain this exposure that we need to build the fan base, build up the foundation. So I just want to make sure I let you guys know that. And for those that didn't really hear much of the commercial at all, I just want to say this too real quick. That for Lighthouse Productions Rhode Island, we are a Providence-based company, my dad and I, that's based out of Rhode Island. and we specialize in the areas of sound, lighting, photo booth, photography, videography, drone videography, monograms, slideshows, and of course, DJ and sound. And of course, as a special bonus, we have wedding officiant services through Road to Love Wedding Services that's in conjunction with Lighthouse Productions to provide you with all of your wedding needs. But if you don't need a wedding, though, fantastic. If you need it for a use of entertainment for a party or event of any kind, we can handle all budgets, all sizes, and all different types of venues. And of course, we have a 100-day money back guarantee. Sorry, a 100% money back guarantee for any type of cancellations or rescheduling needs. For all of your information regarding a free quote to plan your next event or your next wedding or even your next party, send an email to my dad Edward Dunn at YRUYOUAREMYDJ. That's you are my DJ at gmail.com. And you'll be connected to my dad, Edward Dunn, and he will set you up with a Zoom call, an email conversation, give you all your information that you need so we both can get the ball rolling for you. Lighthouse Productions Rhode Island, your entertainment source for all of New England. All right, folks, and now that we're getting close now to almost the bottom of the hour, we're going to wrap up with SummerSlam and the updates I have for you guys on the Premium Live event, which is 2.5 weeks, live on Saturday, August 5th, from the sold-out Ford Field in Detroit, live on Peacock. And as I was saying, there's 2 matches so far, but there's going to be a lot more. So the first one is the rubber match, and it's part 3. It's Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, versus the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. So brace yourself for an all-out anarchy as Cody Rhodes will once again lock horns with Lesnar in a highly anticipated rubber match. On the Raw after WrestleMania, Rhodes was suddenly ambushed by Lesnar just before the two were set to join forces as a tag team against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. The Beast brutalized Rhodes to a shocking and uncomfortable degree, obliterating him with steel steps. At Backlash, the American Nightmare evened the score when he overcame the Beast in an explosive showdown, and the following night, however, Brock attacked Rhodes again as the American Nightmare was competing in a tournament to crown the brand new World Heavyweight Champion. But just as the attack was happening too, he applied the Kimura lock on the already broken arm, which causes Rhodes to pass out from the pain at Night of Champions. And then, with each competitor having defeated the other, Rhodes issued an open challenge for Lesnar to return and take with him anytime, anywhere. And on the July 3rd edition of Raw, Lesnar finally reemerged and kicked off an explosive brawl with Cody that ended up with the American Nightmare hitting a Cody cutter on the Beast and sending him out of the ring. Cody challenged Lesnar to a rematch at SummerSlam, and Lesnar responded by coming to the Red Brand this past Monday night and attacking Rhodes before putting him in the dreaded Kimura and not letting go in front of Cody's mother and family. Here's the problem. We still don't know why in the hell Lesnar has targeted Cody. What other motivation does he have for Cody? It doesn't make sense. I mean, could it have something to do with what happened at last year's SummerSlam? It was Lesnar and Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title in a last man standing match, and it was the final time these two would face each other. There was a stipulation in that match. It stated that if Lesnar did not defeat Reigns, he could never challenge for the undisputed title again as long as Reigns is champion. Almost a year later, Reigns is still champion. Maybe that was a little bit of that, some animosity towards Cody, but I didn't see it. I still will never understand why that angle was the way it was. And we know that Lesnar talks too. So Lesnar, unfortunately, isn't explaining anything either. So maybe as we get closer, maybe we'll get some updates on that and why he's targeted Cody. Because that'd be nice to get some updates out of that. But then this one also goes into part 3. for the World Heavyweight title. It's Seth freaking Rollins against the Demon Finn Balor. So at SummerSlam, Rollins will once again head-to-head with the Judgment Day's Finn Balor, with Senor Money in the Bank Damian Priest lurking in the shadows. At Money in the Bank, Rollins overcame Balor in a hard-fought showdown for the World Heavyweight title, with Balor's fellow Judgment Day member Priest appearing mid-match with his newly captured Money in the Bank contract in hand, though the outcome of the match left the bad taste in the Prince's mouth. After the title matchup, Balor voiced his issues with Priest about what happened back at the Premium Live event. Priest fired back that he was only at ringside to intimidate Rollins before making it clear that he would be world champion sooner or later. As a result, speculation began to run wild over the subsequent weeks regarding the future of the Judgment Day. All speculation seemed to disappear on the July 10th edition of Raw, when Senor Money in the Bank and Balor worked together with Dirty Dominic Mysterio to execute a 301 attack on Rollins before working in perfect tag team precision to overcome the visionary and undisputed tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a six-man tag team match. But is the controversy truly over between the members of the Dark faction? The following week, a refocused Balor launched a surprise attack on Rollins as the title holder was taking part in a sit-down interview, and it was only a matter of time before a match at SummerSlam was made. Will the tension between Balor and Priest resurface? Will Priest cash in despite his connection to the Prince? Or will Rollins continue his incredible run to once again reign supreme over his challenger? So, this is why I say that this is 7 years in the making almost. Because Tony and I were talking about this. SummerSlam 2016, the inaugural Universal title. Right in the beginning of the match, Rollins was going for a turnbuckle bomb or a buckle bomb into the barricade. Balor's shoulder landed awkwardly and he dislocated it. It was then later on that he had a torn labrum and his biceps tendon was attached, and he was out for 6 months because of that surgery. He had to relinquish that title the night after. Rollins was still a heel during that part of the year, and he laughed in Balor's face as he was walking back with his arm in a sling. The promo Balor gave this past Monday night basically was about how he wants to take Rollins' career away from him. He wants to basically make him pay, make him his bitch in plain English. Just saying. These two have just been going at each other's throats for a long time. And I think for Balor, a lot of people are thinking that Balor might actually win this. But I want Rollins just to keep going with this. In my opinion, Rollins deserves this push more because this crowd in the WWE universe, they're so behind Rollins. And I'm one of those too. I love Rollins. I mean, he's one of the best workers in this industry today. And he busts his ass. Whether you love him or you hate him, you have to respect him. He is a worker. He has it now. When he didn't have it years ago. And, I think that the biggest thing that we can look at with Rollins is this rivalry is going to have to end at some point. But the problems are far from over. So the big question is, as was stated before, is Damian Priest going to cash in on Rollins or Balor? Will the Prince go back up on his throne? Or will Rollins continue his dominance and continue cementing his legacy as one of the greatest champions in the history of WWE? Folks, we'll have to wait and see. But I will say this. For WWE, a lot's happened. And this is just a couple updates I have for you. So the Goddess, Alexa Bliss, and Ryan Cabrera, who by the way got married last year or the year before, they are having a baby girl later on this year. They had a gender reveal, and a huge congratulations to Alexa and Ryan. That is awesome. It's always awesome to see that too, because word also got out that Carmella and Corey Graves are also going to be expecting their first child. And even though there's no word on the gender yet, I mean, we've already got two almost. I mean, we have two couples, an almost married and a married couple. We have two couples in WWE that's basically about to have a child, and I mean, trust me, like for WWE, it's awesome because you're adding to the family, you're adding to their legacy. It's just really cool when you really stop to think about it. Um, but I will say though that with everything happening right now, WWE has one option right now, and that's just to stick it and ride it. So SummerSlam, hopefully over the next 7 days, we'll get a little bit deeper in. But here's what's going to be on the card for next week's broadcast: updates on SummerSlam, updates from the SmackDown this Friday night and the Raw on Monday night, and any other matches that got added to the card. But folks, I'm telling you right now, for WWE, they're on a good track. And also on next week's broadcast, my dad Edward Dunn and Tony Jones, the man Tony Jones, will be joining me. And I also want to give a little bit of a notice to you guys as well that I've also done this too. Mr. X Jr. His father is still going through treatment for cancer. Hopefully, if Junior can join us for next week's broadcast, we'll get an update from him on that. But just keep his father and his whole family into prayers because obviously Junior, he's gone through a lot having to deal with all of this. So, definitely keep thoughts and prayers with Junior and his whole family. Pray for his father. I'm hoping that if he does join us on next week's broadcast with my dad and Tony, we'll get an update from him. But hey, even co-hosts are part of the family here. In that Rhode Island broadcasting, we all are a family, whether we think about it or not. We are. I mean, that's just the truth. But I can tell you guys right now that I've been doing this with RIB for I want to say it's been almost 2 months now, almost. I mean, I add a second platform on top of my current one with WBOB, and trust me, all I've ever wanted to do my entire life is reach out to all of you with a message in mind and a story in hand and explain what that purpose is. It's one of the joys of my life right now. It really is. And as a side note, 2 weeks from today, I actually turned 24. I'm not sure if I'll be joining you guys, or my dad and I will be joining you guys on the broadcast. Um, I'm not too sure about that, but if we do, then it's just a bonus. But I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that, though, especially for next week's broadcast. I'll keep you guys posted on that, and I'll give you an update on that day and see if my birthday will be the day that I also get to do this too. Because I remember that 2 years ago when I was first starting out at 990 WBOB down in Providence, my birthday landed on a Monday. We were going live on that day. Our show went live, Too Many Duns on the Ice, and I got to produce on that night. So I literally got to turn 22 in the Catbirds desk, and being that producer and that editor, the board operator. So who knows? Maybe for this one, I'll be doing it from my couch, and maybe I get to celebrate it with all of you. So who knows? But it really takes a lot into consideration for me though, because the years are not going to stop, and they're just going to keep going by. But we have to appreciate the time we have right now, who we have, regardless if they're a pain in the ass or not. You know what I mean? Like, we have to appreciate them because they're our drive. And sorry if I got a little bit sentimental, personal, but I want you guys to understand who you're dealing with and what you're getting into. Because on Falls Count Anywhere, on top of wrestling, I get personal. And if there's weeks where I'm by myself, I'm gonna get personal and I'm gonna talk to you guys on a different level. But I'm also gonna be giving you guys just a little bit of a side note as well. That going forward, starting in August, if there are Wednesdays, I am, as we get closer to the Red Sox going into September to wrap up their regular season and the Patriots beginning their regular season, please be rest assured that for any of you guys that are Boston sports fans here on Falls Count Anywhere, if there are weeks where I am by myself going forward and there isn't a lot of wrestling for me to go over, I will also be throwing in some Red Sox. I'll be throwing in some Patriots, some Slugs, or even some Bruins, just to mix it up for you guys and add a little bit more of a what's the word? Selection or diversity for you. Because on I'm Done with Sports, my show, I talked about those 4 teams in WWE. But if there isn't much for WWE, I won't talk about it there. I'll save it for here. But trust me, a lot can change with the Sox and Patriots too. But I'm just gonna let you guys know too that if that does happen, I'm not gonna basically give you guys what I would talk about on Monday. I would give you guys what I would talk about maybe like the night before or that morning, because it changes frequently around here. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the weather; it never is the same here in New England. So I just want to make sure you guys know that, and you guys are completely aware that what you see is what you get, but you're going to get quality and you're going to get legitimacy here at Rhode Island Broadcaster when it comes to Falls Count Anywhere, Eric Dunn, Edward Dunn, Mr. X Jr., Tony Jones, doesn't matter. You will get quality versus quantity. You will get facts instead of lies, and you will get truth instead of false. And that's just the way it is. Now, as I'm starting to wrap this up for you guys, the biggest thing that we all can look forward to with WWE is how are they going to complete the card of SummerSlam. Next week we'll get more information, and the week after, that's my birthday, August 2nd, we should know the whole card by then. So next week's broadcast, that's what's going to be. Updates on the card, and we're on SmackDown. So on behalf of Mr. X Jr., wrestling promoter Tony Jones, my dad Edward Dunn, and the man behind the scenes in the truck of Rhode Island Broadcasting, the creator Ron Rugo. This is Eric Dunn saying so long and thank you from my home in Bridgewater, Massachusetts. This has been a presentation of Falls Count Anywhere here on the Rhode Island Broadcasting Network. I'll see you guys next Wednesday, the 26th, the last Wednesday of July. My dad, Edward Dunn, will join me. Wrestling promoter Tony Jones will join me. And hopefully Junior will as well. And that might mean that for the first time since this show started, we're going to have all 4 all together at once. Fingers crossed. So far we got 3. Let's see if we can get 4. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching and listening.